Our engagement dinner unfolded like a scene from a dream. The entire evening bathed in soft candlelight that seemed to make everything glow. The tables sparkled under the gentle shimmer of glassware, and music floated through the air in an almost languid rhythm. It was the first time both our families were gathered together, and I felt that nervous, thrilling anticipation of a new chapter about to begin with Ethan, the man I loved and believed I would spend forever with. He looked impeccable that night, his tuxedo sharp, his smile so bright it seemed to fill the whole room each time our eyes locked. His hand clasped mine through the courses of dinner, grounding me, making me believe everything was falling into place exactly as it should. But then I made a mistake, one I could never take back. I had always been the one who made people laugh, quick with playful remarks, sarcastic little jabs, harmless jokes that turned tense moments into lighter ones. Humor had been my shield for years, my way of connecting, of deflecting, of being the entertaining one. Most of the time it worked. People laughed, we moved on, and no one got hurt. That night, when the time came for me to raise a glass and make a toast, I leaned into that role again. I wanted to keep things fun, lighthearted. So I began teasing Ethan. I joked that he wasn't the most traditionally masculine man I had ever dated. The room responded with laughter, and Ethan smiled. But behind the smile was something else, something fragile, almost hidden. A flicker in his eyes that I should have noticed and respected. Instead, I kept going. I brought up the time he screamed louder than I did when a spider crawled across my apartment floor. The laughter that followed was polite, thinner, not quite as free. The atmosphere shifted, the tension noticeable enough that my best friend gave me a look, one I knew well. A look that begged me to stop. But I didn't. I thought I was still being playful, that everyone was enjoying it. And then I crossed a boundary that shattered everything. I made a joke about his confidence in the bedroom. For a split second, I thought it might land with the same laughter as the rest. Instead, it was like the entire room exhaled into silence. The laughter died instantly. No one looked amused. And Ethan, he didn't even try to fake a smile. His jaw tightened, his eyes dropped to his plate, and his whole face drained of color. That was the moment I realized what I had done. I had humiliated the man I loved, in front of the people we cared about most, for the sake of a fleeting laugh. Dinner ended on that heavy note. Ethan said little. As we walked out, I reached for his hand, but he pulled away gently. His voice was quiet, steady, but it cut sharper than anger ever could. I just need some space tonight. The next morning he was gone. Not just for a walk, not just for a breather. His things were packed. On the kitchen counter lay a folded note, so brief yet devastating. I thought you respected me last night. Show me otherwise. I need to rethink everything. I called him over and over. Left voicemails, sent texts, wrote long emails pleading for a chance to explain, but all of it was met with silence. His phone stayed off. His absence became unbearable. Days later, a courier arrived with a small box. Inside was the engagement ring. No explanation, no goodbye, just that cold reminder of the future I had destroyed with my own words. Through a mutual friend, I learned Ethan had gone to stay with his brother in another city. He hadn't stopped loving me, but he had said love by itself wasn't enough. That without trust, without respect, love couldn't survive. Those words clung to me, haunting me, forcing me to face truths I had long avoided. I began therapy. For the first time, I confronted the darker parts of myself. The way I use humor to cover fear. How I avoided vulnerability by mocking the very person I loved most. I had to reckon with the fact that my jokes weren't always harmless. I had been careless, insecure, thoughtless. Slowly, painfully, I began learning to measure my words, to understand the weight they carried, and to sit with real honesty instead of hiding behind sarcasm. Months passed. I didn't date anyone. I wasn't exactly waiting for Ethan, but a part of me carried that quiet, stubborn hope that someday we'd speak again. And then one afternoon my phone buzzed. His name lit up the screen. His message was simple. I've been thinking. Can we talk? My chest tightened, filled with a mix of dread and hope. When we met at a small, quiet cafe, I barely recognized him. He seemed steadier, more self-assured, stronger. We talked for hours. I apologized without excuses, laying everything bare, and he listened. He told me he still cared, but rebuilding trust wasn't something that happened quickly. We agreed to start slow. No pressure, no labels, just a cautious, honest